Right guys, so by the time you see this tutorial you should be on your first day of your study week. Now obviously during study week you're supposed to be working on work towards your project. So I've made this little tutorial to help you guys out. I'm going to make a few more, but this first tutorial will add something new to your game, something that we haven't worked on within class, and it's simply we're going to make a bullet fly out of our player and then kill an enemy, and then also fire from the left and from the right. So to get started, import your spray, your bullet spray. You can make this in Photoshop. I've actually got one from the internet because obviously I'm not good at drawing, so I simply just downloaded one from the internet, and I'm just going to drag this in to my little bullet prefab. I'll zoom in so you can see. Now I rotate -90 on the z-axis. There you go, it's rotated. And then I want to give this a box collider 2D and then a rigid body 2D. On the box collider, make sure it's triggered as tick because we want it to trigger an event. Head to our scripts folder, make a new script, create C# script, and call this bullet R. Okay. Open this up within Visual Studio. Actually, you can keep these functions, but firstly let's declare some variables. So we need to declare a public float called speed, and we'll set this to 50 for now, semicolon to end it. So this is how fast the bullet will move. It's a floating number obviously because it will be going 50, 49.9, etc. So we want it to be a floating number because obviously floating works with decimals. Then we make a private vector, a private rigid body 2D, and we call this rigid body 2D or RB2D, and this is just a reference to the rigid body. We create a new private vector 2, and we call this screen bounds. In our start function, we say RB2D is equal to this .get component rigid body 2D, open close parentheses or bracket, semicolon to end. Just get this .get component rigid body 2D, upper close curly brackets. Semicolon to end. And again, this is just this gets the rigid body from the player and stores it as RB2D. So it's just a reference to our rigid body. We've used this before in lessons. And then all we're saying is this rigid body 2D, RB2D dot velocity. So the velocity of the rigid body is equal to a new vector 2. Remember, we're working in 2D, so vector 2 is 2D, vector 3 is 3D. And we're just saying speed 0. So this is the velocity of the bullet's rigid body moves the value, which is in the variable speed, moves of the value of the variable stored in speed, and then it's 0 on the x-axis, and then it's 0 on the y-axis. So it moves 50 on the x-axis and 0 on the y-axis because we want to go left to right, not up to down. Okay, and then we make a new variable called screen bounds, and this is equal to camera main dot screen to world new vector 3. Now work in 3D space. screen dot width, comma, screen dot height, comma, and camera dot main dot transform dot position dot z, semicolon to end. In our update function, we say if transform dot position dot x is more than screen bounds dot x times minus 2, open close curly brackets, destroy open parentheses or open brackets this dot game object, close brackets, semicolon. So if the bullet falls outside of the screen, destroy the bullet. Control S to save. Head over back to Unity and drag this script onto your bullet prefab. Hit play. Oh, we've got an error, so let me just check that, and I spelled world wrong. And screen to world point. Hit Control S to save. Head back to Unity. Hit play. And then actually just see that our bullet is now flew across the screen. You don't want it to fly across the screen straight away, so what we do is we go to our prefabs folder, drag our bullet into the prefabs folder, and then delete it from the hierarchy. Because what we're going to do is we're going to create a script that will actually instantiate or create the bullet on a button press, and that's what we're going to work on next. So in order for us to do that, we go back to our scripts folder, open up the player controller. In player controller, you want to declare a couple of new variables. So firstly, you want to declare a public transform, call this player, semicolon to end dot, and this is the transform of the player. So we're just taking the transform of our player, and then we make a new public game object, and we call this bullet prefab. This is a reference to the bullet prefab. So the bullet prefab we just created, well, this variable here is going to reference it, and then we go down to our update function. So remember, this player controller script is whatever you are using to control your player. This is where you want to be creating this. So your script will look different to mine. However, whatever script you have created to make your player move, jump, walk, whatever, this is where you need to be doing the next lot of commands. Okay. So in your update, you want to create a new variable or a new piece of code and say if. So create a new if statement and say if input dot get button down, open parentheses or open brackets, call this fire1, open close curly brackets, control S to save. Now fire1 is your left mouse button, so you head back into Unity and you go to edit, preferences, sorry, not preferences, edit, project settings, go to input manager. If you check here in your axis, fire1, positive is left control button, the alternative positive button is mouse 0. Mouse 0 is equal to your left mouse button on your mouse. So if the left mouse button is being pressed, then call shoot bullets. Call the shoot bullet function, and we're going to create this function in a second. I've just got an unexpected, so I didn't end with a semicolon. Remember guys, always end your variables with a semicolon, otherwise it's not going to work and you'll run into an error. So I need to make my shoot bullet function, so I just go down to the bottom of my script and I say public void shoot bullets, open close brackets or parentheses, and then open close curly brackets. Okay, so next I need to create some functions to get this working. So I say game object b equals instantiate bullet prefab as game object, semicolon to end. So what this is doing, this is creating a game object. So it creates a new game object from the bullet prefab. All it does is literally just drops the bullet prefab into the game. Okay, and then we say b.transform .position is equal to player.transform .position. So a transform of b, so b is the new game object we've just created, so the transform of b is now equal to the transform of player. And all this simply does is it will create the game object wherever the player is. So whenever you hit fire, so whenever the player hits fire, wherever that player is on the screen, that is where the bullet will be created. Okay, so it's just a simple little script. Hit Control S to save, head back into Unity, hit play, and then you actually need to declare the prefab first. So I'll click on your player, find the script, and the script is here. Drag your player onto the player in the inspector, and then drag your prefab. So go to your prefabs folder, bullet, drag your bullet onto the bullet prefab. Control S to save. Now hit play. And then we are now firing the bullet. Good, so that works. However, there are two issues. Firstly, our enemy, because this little fish is my enemy, it's not dying. Also, when I am facing left, my bullet is still firing to the right. Not good. So we're going to fix that now. Firstly, we will focus on destroying this little fishy here. And in order for us to destroy this little fishy, we need to head back to our bullet script. So script folder, open bullet R, we are in the bullet R script. So underneath the void update function, we need to make a new update. And we say private on trigger enter 2D, because remember we created a trigger in our bots collider. So we're saying private void on trigger enter 2D and change this to ever. What we need to say now is if ever dot tag is equal to enemy destroy ever.game object. So if the object which we are colliding with is tagged as an enemy, then run this little function here and it says destroy ever.game object. Okay, Control S to save, head back into Unity, hit play, and it's still not destroying, and that's because a little fishy here hasn't been tagged. So drop down the tags menu, add tag, hit the plus sign, enemy, hit your little fish again, and tag as enemy. Now Control S, now hit play, and it's now destroyed. Good. So now we need to fix the issue where we are firing right when we're actually facing left. Now this has taken me a very long time to figure out, a lot longer than it should have, and there probably is a much easier way to sort this, to fix it. You can ask Rob if he knows of a way. He probably does, and it's probably a much neater, cleaner way than what I'm doing it. However, my method does work, and so I will show you how to do it, and it will benefit you because it's adding an extra function to your game that you didn't have before. So head back to your play controller script, and where you've got your shoot bullet function, you need to say if. Now this only works if you are flipping your player left or right. So if you have the boolean saying is player facing right or is facing right, this will work. If you don't, then you will need to create that to get this function to work. So here we're saying if facing right is equal to true, open close curly brackets, and then we simply copy this little script here and place it in there, and then else if facing right is equal to false. So if it's not facing right, open close curly brackets, and we place the same script in again. However, this is the same script and it's not going to work, so we need to change this bullet prefab to bullet prefab R and this one to bullet prefab L, because we're obviously facing left here and we're facing right here. So now you'll see we've got two little areas. Bullet prefab R does not exist in this context, and it's the same with bullet prefab L. So we go to what's up where we've declared our variables and we change this to bullet prefab R. Just copy that, paste it underneath, bullet prefab L. So this is a reference to the bullet prefab facing right, and this is facing left. Control S to save. And if you head into Unity, click on your player, you will now need to reset the prefabs. However, if you look at our prefab, we've already got the one prefab of the bullet, so we need to Control D to duplicate, rename this to bullet L, and rename this one to bullet R. Click on our player again and just drag the bullet L over, and then same for the bullet R. And it's still not going to work, and that's because if you look at our bullet L, it's referencing the bullet R script, so it's using the same script. So all it's doing is the exact same method. So what you need to do is you need to go to your scripts folder, create a new C#, and just call it bullet L. Open this up. Go into your bullet R, copy everything up until the first variable and just paste it into here. And the only thing we need to change is this velocity, and we just say minus speed. So if we say minus speed, we're going the opposite direction, so the bullet is flying in the opposite direction. Head back into Unity, and again it's still not going to work because we need to go to our bullet L prefab, remove the bullet R script and add the bullet L script instead. Control S to save, hit play, click on the player. Now as you can see, our player is facing right because it's ticked here. And then we shoot, it works. Now bullet's facing left because it's unticked, and it shoots the opposite direction. So that works. So that's it, guys. That's simply how to get your character to fire a bullet. There is neater ways to do it, but this is nice, fast and easy for you guys. If there's anything else you would like me to show you, just send me an email. If you get stuck on anything, send me an email. I'm always there to help, and I will come up with a few more tutorials during the week to help you guys along. We will probably look at a scrolling background, and I will find some other fun things for us to do to add to our game. Okay, but thank you for watching, and that's all for now, guys. Okay, see you soon. Bye.